Last night I broke down and I saw the movie Dallas Buyers Club. Actually, I watched most of the movie, um, and haven't seen the last half hour or so of it yet because I was thinking that it was maybe taking a turn toward the maudlin, and I really despise maudlin uh, stuff in movies. It's an allergy of mine. But but I have to say a few things about this movie that was released in the year 2011. And I remember when it came out, I was like, okay, another movie about gay guys, gay sex, a transvestite played by Jared Leto. Count me out of another Brokeback Mountain. No thanks. Not going to go. But what I didn't realize at the time was what this movie dealt with, insofar as its commentary on the health establishment, the FDA and pharmaceutical companies, and so forth. And at the time, admittedly, in 2011, it didn't really. These kinds of issues didn't really mean a whole lot to me. I'm not saying that. I'm not. I mean, maybe they should have. I ought to have known more, but they didn't. It just didn't. Start a fire in me for any particular reason. I knew there were disputes about HIV and HIV treatment and so forth and so on. But those kinds of battles between public health, between like the health establishment and the homeopathic sorts of medicine and doctors, alternative medicine, it just didn't really strike a chord with me. It took for 2020 to happen, and for just to see what they were capable of, the entire establishment, the entire governmental establishment. The whole, all the instruments, all of the functionaries of power, what they were capable of in 2020 and 2021, which absolutely horrified me, and many others. It took that and the mandates that they pushed in 2021 for me to really start looking at these kinds of issues. So I was late to the party, and this movie covers so many things that are, people have been red pilled about. Ironic to use a pill metaphor for this subject matter, but there you go. What I didn't know at the time was that the health establishment, the FDA, and in particular, may his name live in infamy, Dr. Fauci. I didn't actually spit, but I would have if I didn't want spit to land in my own car. What they were pushing on people who were diagnosed as HIV positive. And had I known about this at the time, I think it would have made much more of an impression on me. The fact that they were pushing this drug so heavily, just in so draconian a manner, and this drug that was absolute poison and probably killed as many people as AIDS did, if not more. Looking back, you look at people like Freddie Mercury in his final days, when he looked very gaunt and haggard and just looked really rough. And at the time you thought, oh, this is what AIDS has done to him. It might have been what the AZT had done to him. There's just how many people who supposedly died of complications from AIDS really died from being force-fed this poison that was AZT. And worse than that, Fauci and his crew were attempting to get people, and they didn't just attempt this; they actually did it. They were telling people, even if you're diagnosed as HIV positive, but your health is fine, you aren't showing any signs of illness, you should still get on the AZT immediately. And I mean, we've seen how people who contract, who become HIV positive can still more or less live more or less normal lives. I mean, I know there's been probably some advances since the 80s, but again, how many people were lost due to this kind of malpractice? It's really quite infuriating to think about, and it's it shows that, and the kind of money that they made off of this drug, this AZT drug, which was only superficially useful or superficially effective, but actually, at the same time that it was might have been killing the virus or cells of the virus, it was actually killing the hosts of the virus as well. Now, I know there are people who think that HIV doesn't cause AIDS, and there are other sorts of theories like that. And I'm really open to a lot of things. I don't know enough to say one way or the other. But I will never just, I will never just call somebody a kook because the health establishment says that they're kooky or they're quacky or whatever. I mean, not after 2020 and 2021. That's gone. My patience with the health establishment gone. And it seems that this was just a precursor to all of that, because a lot of us know, or it's been more or less a matter of public record to a greater and greater extent, that thing that they were making people put in their arms was not helping them and was actually hurting a lot of people, and maybe even killing some people. I know I'm right on the line of what I'm supposed to be able to say here on YouTube, but what the hell? Truth is truth. And the same thing was true with AZT. It just makes you think that these people are absolute ghouls. So, and that's, I'm not commenting very much on the movie itself, except to say the movie does an excellent job of drawing attention to this problem, and it wouldn't be made today. That's, I think, one of the things that's interesting about watching it. With top-notch, or A-level actors like Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto and others, it just it would not be made today. They would not allow. They would not be able to kick those kinds of funds to this movie that is so anti-big pharma. It just wouldn't happen. I have to say that the performances are strong. The story is interesting. It's pretty grim fare, but there's also some humor. And like I said, I didn't watch the end because I got the feeling it was going to take a maudlin turn. But this is less a film review and more just wow, that film was really something. That film had its finger on the pulse of something that was really real. And there was a time when you could tell the truth about it. I guess by that time, all the AZT pushers had sort of quietly stepped away, and somehow Fauci and his cronies were still out there after perpetrating this atrocity. Really, and really, you don't have to be gay to understand that this was an atrocity. But I don't know how. I don't know how, if you're gay and you knew this stuff happened, how you were still willing to go along with Fauci in 2020 and 2021. To me, this just absolutely disqualified him. Worse than disqualified him. I mean, this man is a monster, in my opinion. So there you go. Dallas Buyers Club. You can actually watch it now on the streaming service that a lot of you hate, and for good reason, Netflix. I maintain there's enough good material on Netflix, enough interesting stuff on Netflix to counteract the obvious propaganda that's there, but it's a decision we all have to make on our own, and I'm kind of a cinephile, so it feeds my passions in that way. So I would recommend Dallas Buyers Club. I can't vouch for the last half hour, but most people are don't have the same kind of extreme revulsion that I have towards material that I find maudlin. And I might be wrong, and maybe it didn't in a maudlin way, but I suspect it did. But regardless, good on that movie for existing. And I'm glad there was a time when you could actually tell the truth about these kinds of things. Sort of in between these two atrocities, the atrocity of the AZT, distribution to sick people in the 80s and 90s, and then the atrocities of 2020 and 2021, the Great Pharma Wars. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the movie. Let me know if you've seen it. Let me know your thoughts below.